Hey everyone. In this video I want to talk about how if someone uses your secrets as weapons, they aren't worth it. This is a behavior that a lot of manipulative or vindictive people will use in arguments. If you've ever been in a relationship, then you know that occasionally arguments or fights are bound to happen, at least if you're being completely honest with each other, because you're bound to disagree on things. But if you're lying to each other, then sure, you can have a relationship where there's no arguments whatsoever because you're both being dishonest. But anyway, I just wanted to establish how arguments and fights naturally happen in relationships. They're not a sign of a relationship being bad at all. Now, however, if when you get into those arguments, if your partner uses your secrets as weapons against you, that probably is a bad relationship. People shouldn't do that. That's very manipulative behavior. It's basically them using your vulnerability against them because inevitably throughout the relationship you will open up to them at times. You will share with them secrets. You'll share with them your insecurities. And if they choose to use those as weapons during your weak moments in arguments, then that person is probably not someone that you want to keep in your life long term. In fact, I would say if they're doing that, you pretty much want to break up with them because that is not a good sign for the future. If they weaponize your secrets and your vulnerabilities like that, you do not want to marry this person. This is not someone you should keep in your life long term because they've proven they do not have the maturity to be in long-term relationships. Because if they did, they wouldn't use your vulnerability against you like that. It's messed up behavior. I mean, I can't believe some people put up with this. A lot of men in general know this behavior because by far women tend to use it more often than men. Men are just, we're more logical, so when we get into arguments, we just try to reason through it, whereas women on average will try to use emotional weaponry, and a great way of doing that is using someone's vulnerabilities against them. So in general, it seems like this behavior is something that women tend to do more than men, but it can happen to anyone. The important thing here is do not tolerate it from anyone, even if it's your family or your friends. If they're doing that to you, that's not a good sign. Now, in the case of your family, obviously, in most cases, you probably aren't going to want to cut them out of your life, so at least just spend less time around them so you don't have to deal with that, because it's truly not cool. And if it's someone that you're in a relationship with, you really should rethink being with them. Is this someone that is actually good for you, especially long term? Or are they someone who's going to gaslight you and use a bunch of manipulation tactics to basically hold power over you and control you? Because if they're weaponizing your vulnerability, that is not a good sign for other things they're likely doing to you in the relationship. There's just a whole lot of manipulation going on when they use that behavior. And the sad thing is that quite often people don't even realize they're doing this consciously. Now, if you are someone who's done this in the past, then work on yourself so that you can notice when you're doing this behavior and then choose not to do it. And if you have done it, then at least decide that in the future you're not going to let your temper get the best of you so that you choose to attack your partner in such a manipulative fashion. It's just not cool. You should never attack someone when they're down like that. Do not use people's vulnerabilities, their secrets, their insecurities against them in arguments. Instead, your goal should be to not act on your emotions and to basically get to a place where you work things out with your partner by talking with level heads and being honest, and then work through whatever the issue was. And once you come through it, hopefully your relationship will actually be stronger than before. That's the way you should handle arguments. You shouldn't immediately use them as a way to win the fight and be right. The relationship being lasting long term is far more important than you being right and making your ego feel good. So always choose a relationship over being right. But anyway, I could go on for a while on this topic because it's just such messed up behavior, and I really wish more people didn't do this. I don't know why it's so common. It's really unfortunate. But anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!